Hello EFD squad and welcome back to the Euro Roundup where you send me and Doogie your winners and losers from the weekend just past. And we're starting this week on a bang with the gunslinger. It's Piatek and this comes from Billy Boy. And first and foremost, Doogie, is this the best nickname in world football ever?
It's got to be right up there, hasn't it? I mean, that celebration already becoming right accustomed. We're seeing it all relentlessly. But Robbie Fowler being God, that was another good one
Levi
as well.
Ashin, the black spider.
Yes, you're a big fan of Levi Ashin. And Totti the Emperor as well. I think those have got to be the sort of top four or so. But why don't you guys vote in a poll of your favourites? Early poll, right up there. But we go straight into Piatek because he scored a brace. One of which was an unbelievable first-time volley, guys, from a floated Ricardo Rodriguez ball to help Milan come from a goal down to beat Atalanta 3-1 away from home. Great result for them. And Piatek continues his fantastic form. He now has 6 goals in 5 games since his €35 million switch from Genoa last month. In the process, through these goals, he's become the first Milan player since Mario Balotelli to score in each of his first 3 starts and now has 17 league goals this season for Genoa and Milan, which is a figure only topped by Cristiano Ronaldo. Woo! And it wasn't the only great goal, that volley. Karanoglu's Milan second was a fantastic sort of long-range effort from about 25 yards out, which was their second of the goal of the game. It was actually the Turks' first league goal, this season. So he'll be hoping to improve that output as the season goes on, but coming into a bit of form. Unlike Donnarumma, who'll be slightly disappointed with the Atalanta opener from Remo Freuler after good work from Ilicic, who now has 5 goals and 7 assists in 18-19. But Donnarumma should have done better with a sort of low shot to his right. Gattuso, however, will be delighted. His side are now unbeaten in 7 league games. That's 4 wins and 3 draws. And get this, they have only conceded 5 Serie A goals since the start of December. That's a joint European record in Europe's top 5 leagues alongside Barcelona. And they've got a bit of breathing space now. They've got a 4-point gap to Roma, Lazio and Atalanta, although the Giallorossi can respond tonight versus Bologna. But a slightly disappointing day for Atalanta, Chris.
Yeah, Gasperini will be exasperated with this one, Doogie, because they dominated the stats. 60% of the ball, 200 more passes, and had double the amount of shots of AC with 14-7, but still lost for the first time in 7 league fixtures against Milan, had become their booby side. Now, expected goals suggest that AC were incredibly lucky to win by the margin they did as well, 3-1, scoring it at 1-0.8 in Atalanta's favour. And it was pretty unexpected too, as well as the history books between the two sides. Atalanta were also in fine fettle, unbeaten in their previous 6 league games going into this, winning 4 and drawing 2 while scoring 20 goals in the process. They have been so prolific at home. They've now scored it in their last 8 Serie A home games and have scored 51 as well, which is 1 fewer than Juve. Their previous best at this stage in the season was 42 back in 1955-56. So
year of my birth.
Prolific of late. Yes, the birth date of your hairline. Their centre-back, Berat Dejimsiti, will also feel very unfortunate to be on the losing end because he put in a monstrous defensive performance, didn't he? 100% pass accuracy from 58 passes, 4 aerial duels won, 2 shots and 10 tackles and interceptions.
Just a cool 10.
He was everywhere trying to keep Milan at bay, but the gunslinger found a way through and fueled he was by Bakayoko's efforts. Played centrally in a 4-3-3. His renaissance continues at AC Milan. 4 aerial duels won, 4 dribbles, 1 key pass, and 7 tackles and interceptions himself. So really putting in the hard yards there. Piatek, though, picking up man of the match. He put in a decent defensive performance as well. Took 3 shots, scored 2 goals, so was super clinical and completed a couple of dribbles to boot. How many goals can he finish this season on, guys? Will he get the cap on Cannoniere in the Serie A? Let us know in the comments below.
Our first loser has to be Real Madrid, and this comes in from @Boggle93. Great game, Boggle, but not a great weekend for Real Madrid.
Always been more of a articulate man myself.
Oh, really? You didn't like a bap it? Twisted.
That's a different game.
That's Boggle, isn't it?
No, Boggle's the one where all the letters are in the dome and you mix them up and then you make words with them.
What's Bop It?
Come on, amateur. That's called Bop It, Doogie. I'm going to bop you in a minute, mate. Anyway, Los Blancos missed the chance to go second in La Liga after a hugely damaging 2-1 defeat at home to Girona. And all the more demoralising because they took the lead through Casemiro's emphatic header from that Tony Cruz ball. And that was his second consecutive opener after his effort versus Atletico last weekend. And subsequently, Real Madrid dominated first half proceedings with 8 shots to Girona's 2. But then the tide turned when Ramos was penalised for a handball in the area. He just can't help himself, can he? Just can't help himself. Stuani equalising from the spot. His 13th La Liga goal of the campaign, but his first in 4, so he had to welcome the opportunity to score from the spot. Only Messi with 22 and Suarez with 15 have scored more. Porto then headers Girona in front. Courtois maybe could have done a touch better, but takes the ball in with him. It's a difficult angle, ends up in the side netting, doesn't it? And Ramos eventually getting sent off late on for a second yellow for a high boot after attempting an overhead kick to really rub salt in the proverbial
it seemed a bit harsh, but he did get him in the face.
Yeah.
So the referee didn't really have a choice.
Dangerous play, and he didn't give him a straight red, did he? It probably was a bookable offence, and it caps a horrific week for Los Blancos' captain. He's being investigated for potentially getting sent off on purpose in that 2-1 victory over Ajax, getting booked on purpose, so he misses, so he can't be suspended for future ties. And he's now received the 25th red card of his career, more than twice that of any other Real Madrid player, and his 20th in La Liga is now a European top 5 league record.
Naughty boy.
Clocking up those personal achievements, but not really in the right areas. And Solari will be furious because, like we were saying on last week's Continental Club, it looked like they'd really, arrested that slump. He'd got off to a bit of a slow start, and then I think they won 7 of their last 9, and now they're there's an air of negativity around the club yet again after losing at home to these minnows. So his side had lost just 1 in their previous 11 in all competitions, that is. But now, do they miss the opportunity to further cement second?
Yeah, no.
Atletico leapfrog them yet again.
Atleti leapfrog them with a Griezmann goal, I believe.
I mean, Girona have taken a few scalps since they've come up, haven't they? But this was a largely unexpected result.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly no mugs, but they hadn't actually won in the league since their 3-1 victory away at Espanyol on the 25th of November. So that was 10 games ago. Since then, they've drawn 4 and lost 6. So they had actually had a quite good start to the season. Then sort of their form dropped off. This was a great result for them. They hadn't even actually scored in their previous 3 league games, conceding 7 in the process, which had seen them drop to 17th. But this win takes Eusebio Sacristan's men up to 15th. They're now 4 points off 10th, but they're also 4 points off relegation. So the bottom half of La Liga is really pretty tight. But expected goals suggest that they were actually great value for their win in this game, scoring at 3.1 to 1.7 in their favour. It's quite rare to get 3.1 expected goals at the Bernabeu. That's a really good performance from them.
Bar hit the post, didn't they?
Yeah, definitely. And caused Real Madrid all sorts of issues. We've seen them again just being routinely cut open on the counter-attack. Key performers in this game, though, we've got to give a shout-out to 20-year-old defensive midfielder Douglas Luiz, who's actually on his 2nd of a 2-year loan spell from Man City. He played really well in this game, 91% pass accuracy, 2 tackles and interceptions, 2 aerial duels won, 5 dribbles, 2 key passes. Great display all round, especially from a defensive midfielder. 2 key passes, and 5 dribbles from that sort of position on the pitch is really, really sort of almost unheard of. And he's actually been very solid all year. He's made 15 appearances, 10 of which starts, 3 tackles and interceptions, 1.5 dribbles, 1 key passes per 90, 84% pass accuracy. Maybe worth keeping an eye on for the future, not necessarily as a Man City starter, but, at another top European club. For a 20-year-old, it's a really impressive season. Man of the match, though, was probably 26-year-old left winger Porto, who obviously scored the winner, as Chris mentioned earlier. 2 tackles and interceptions, 88% pass accuracy, which is pretty impressive for a winger. 3 dribbles, 2 shots, 1 goal. Now Real Madrid have, a bit of a tricky schedule, really. They'll obviously be without Sergio Ramos for both their Ajax game and the game against Levante next weekend. And they've then got back-to-back El Clasicos, one of which in the Copa del Rey and one in the league.
Tasty.
So it's all hotting up for Real Madrid fans, but You know, how damaging do you think this is for Solari's credentials, Real Madrid fans? Would you be happy with him getting the job full-time, or is he simply not up to the task? Let us know in the comments down below.
Our final winners are Villarreal, and this one comes from P Steel 22, and the Yellow Submarines sank Sevilla, didn't they, mate?
They did indeed. They battered them 3-0, and this is relegation threatened Villarreal against Champions League chasers Sevilla, so a very much unexpected result. Villarreal had actually been on their worst run without winning in La Liga this century, drawing 6 and losing 4 prior to this game. But they started really well. I mean, Spanish centre-back Alvaro Gonzalez got them underway. Absolute bullet header from a 20-minute Santi Cazorla corner. Great header. You should definitely go check that out if you haven't already. Cazorla now has 8 goal involvements this campaign, the most in this side, with 3 goals and 5 assists. So he's pretty much keeping them afloat at the moment. Cameroon forward Karl Toko Ekambi doubled their lead just before half time with a simple tap-in, although he did nearly miss it, from a brilliant Carlos Bacca back heel. It was great play from Villarreal on the left, goes over to Bacca, he creates space for the back heel, and Ekambi nearly missed it, but just about, and his face nearly dropped as he hit it. He was like, I think I've just gone in, and it just went into the bottom left. Left back Alfonso Pedreza wrapped up the game in the closing minutes with his 3rd of the season. And as I said, it's a huge win. It's just their 4th in the league this season. And they're really under threat of relegation. They now sit 18th, just 1 point from safety. So hopefully this shock result can get them going. But for their opponents, Sevilla, this is potentially really damaging.
Yeah, Sevilla were running hot up until Christmas, weren't they? But their form of late has been patchy, to say the least, losing 6 in their last 10. How are they still in the hunt for Champions League football, losing 6 in their last 10? What is happening in La Liga? Now, last night, at least they created opportunities, which they haven't been doing of late. They had 21 shots in total, and expected goals of 2.2. 15 of those opportunities coming from inside the box, yet they only hit the target 5 times.
Okay, that's not
so
so
a real lack of clinical edge, and maybe we should, put a lot of credit at the door of the Villarreal defence, who just managed to get bodies in between those opportunities. Munir El Haddadi, the most decisive striker on the night for Sevilla, just by virtue of getting 3 shots on target, is yet to score for the club, although has only played 3 games so far. Now, Sevilla, as you'd expect, having 21 shots, did have the lion's share of possession with 57%, but the home side, had Santi Cazorla.
Yeah.
The 34-year-old magician. Another dazzling display from the evergreen man. He had the most touches in the game with 87, a pass accuracy of 91%, and he created 3 key chances. Rolling back the years here was Santi Cazorla. He also completed 4 tackles. Decided to put in a defensive shift.
Love it.
Not sure if he's ever been that sort of
player. Doing a bit of everything.
Nipping it off people's feet. Likes to do that, doesn't he? 4 dribbles as well, which were both game highs. Just showing no signs of age. Another man of the match performance. Both teams have tricky fixtures next. So Villarreal have Atletico Madrid. This was a big 3 points for them, really, because
Much
like
needed.
you said, struggling at the bottom of the table, while Sevilla take on Barca again at home. Doesn't get any easier for them. They should have slipped out of Champions League places, but I like them as a club, Hopefully they'll secure it and, keep the heat on Real Madrid and Atletico toward the tail end of the season. Arrest that slump. Come on.
Right, our final loser of the show is Celta Vigo, and this comes in from Croûte Dominic. Christopher, take it away.
They played like a bunch of croutons, didn't they? Levante claiming their first victory in 4 games, scoring 4 in the process. Away from home to Celta Vigo, moving up to 11th. Now, this is a huge 3 points for the Valencian outfit, and it condemns Vigo to 17th as well. It pretty much moves Levante out of the relegation dogfight and puts Celta Vigo right back in it. So Levante were given a helping hand in this game. The home side's 28-year-old winger Riyad Boudabous was given his marching orders with the home side 2-0 down, so a crucial point in the game for kicking Borja Mayoral directly in the penis.
Really?
It was a nasty one, mate.
Boudabous, I really recognise that name. Did he play in England at some stage?
You might be thinking of Khalid Boudabous.
I think I might
for
be.
Chelsea.
He wore number 9.
But he got Mayoral right in his major, didn't he? So this did little to hamper Mayoral's overall performance, with the immediately on with the Madrid loanee, grabbing an assist, a goal and creating 3 chances, meaning he now has as many goals in 8 games for Levante as he totaled in 19 appearances for Wolfsburg on loan last campaign. Didn't have a very fruitful time of it in Germany. Props to 31-year-old captain as well, Jose Luis Morales, the versatile forward, grabbing a brace, meaning he now has 10 goal involvements for the season. Which is pretty much, he's maintaining form from last season where he contributed to a goal every 170 minutes. And he only made his La Liga debut in 2014 after playing amateur football well into his early 20s. So somewhat of a late bloomer. So Levante spearheaded by the Spanish Jamie Vardy there. But your man, who you profiled in Continental Club, Brais Mendes, he was Celta Vigo's silver lining.
He was indeed. Yeah, if you haven't gone and checked out last Friday's Continental Club, we basically didn't have any big match previews to bring you, so we just profiled 2 players. And one of them was 22-year-old Brais Mendes. And he was Celta Vigo's only bright spark, as Chris said. He had 4 shots, he got 1 goal, admittedly a dodgy penalty, and created 1 chance as well. He now has 12 goal involvements in 19 starts. I think only managed 2 in 12 last campaign. He's obviously still quite young, so he's still developing. But his numbers have massively improved this season. His shots have gone up to 2.5 from 1.1, his key passes to 1.9 from 0.5, and his dribbles have doubled to 0.8, as has his general involvement, 22 passes per 90 to 41. His improvement makes him one to watch for the future. I mean, we're not necessarily targeting for a big move yet, but if he continues at this rate, promising things for Brais Mendes. The attacking midfielder actually had to play as a central striker with Maxi Gomez suspended and Aspas dropping to the bench, who before the match were responsible for 19 of Celta's 31 goals this season. He deputised okay, but now Celta are in serious danger of being dragged into a relegation dogfight, with Alaves, Real Madrid and Betis to play in 3 of their next 4 games. So it's not looking any easier for them. I mean, there's that argument that they've got too much talent to go down. I mean, there's not only Mendes and Gomez, but they've got Piano Sisto, they've got Beltran, they've got Emre Moore. You'd argue that this side looked too good to go down, but we've seen it in the Premier League in recent years. Good sides often go down. Celta Vigo haven't really got going this, at least in the last few months. No. So it's dangerous times for them. Celta Vigo fans, how worried are you? And the rest of La Liga, why don't we put it to a poll? Will Celta Vigo go down, or are they too good? So vote in the poll above. Let us know. 2 polls. You're too good to them, mate. Oh, yeah. Star of the week this week was pretty overwhelming in the comments. It is Kingsley Coman. This one comes from @DXNHO_ and a bunch of other people. Why is that, Diggy? What did he do? Yeah, well, the young Frenchman steered Bayern Munich to an incredible comeback after the German champions needed 2 goals from the young Frenchman to cut the gap to Dortmund to just 2 points. Oh, it's happening. No, they play Nuremberg tonight. We shall see. But obviously, you said Dortmund, I said Bayern. They need to bounce back from that disappointing game against Spurs as well, so it's not looking too rosy for Dortmund. But it is for Coman. This was just his second full 90 of the season, and he restored De Rotten's lead after they conceded after just 15 seconds, which was the fastest goal scored in the Bundesliga this season. He then equalised on the 45th minute, cleverly nutmegging the Augsburg keeper, although he would have, I've watched that back, he would have definitely hoped to have done better, which was his 5th goal of the season in all competitions, and crowned off an amazing performance with the assist for the Alaba goal. So all coming up rosy for Kingsley Coman. Yeah, and who'd begrudge him a bit of form after the injury woes that he's 100%. Been through, obviously. Well documented in the summer that he came close to quitting football, or said that if he suffered another injury of the same magnitude to the one he'd just been through, he would leave the game. I think it's 19 separate injuries. Just saying that his body is potentially not built for the sport, which would be a shame because he's very, very talented, physicality aside. And he was clearly man of the match in this game, having 3 shots on target, 2 key passes for his teammates. And he also completed 4 dribbles, netting a brace for the first time since scoring 2-0 in an 8-0 victory over Hamburg in February 2017. And despite picking up a little niggle, it looks like he has been declared fit to play against Bayern Munich. And we're going to do... Liverpool. Against Liverpool. Why would he play against Bayern? For Bayern, against Liverpool. And we're going to do a armchair fans for that massive game. Huge. I just think
in my head, Jurgen Klopp is going to get one over his old adversaries. I think Liverpool are well equipped to destroy this Bayern side. Look a little bit laboured at the back, don't they? Ageing in certain departments, whereas Liverpool just,
it's sort of similar to Real Madrid this year, in that Bayern Munich on paper have this amazing defence, but whenever I've seen the highlights of them playing, I've just been really disappointed. I mean, Boateng's out for this game. Nicolas Süle gave away a goal in this one. I think Ji-Dong Wong, who used to play for Sunderland, scored for Augsburg. Mats Hummels hasn't looked his brilliant self as usual. Alaba, Kimmich. And Manuel Neuer in goal has looked really shaky.
Yeah,
I mean, he's been the biggest drop-off probably of the whole season.
I mean, there's serious questions as to whether he should remain their number one. Sven Ulreich, of course, last season was brilliant when he deputised for him. The Wall, he was nicknamed, in fact. So maybe he should come back in. But yeah, a lot of high-profile individual mistakes at the start of this campaign really setting Kovac's men back. I'm sure he'll be, increasingly frustrated with that it's carried on. I don't know why the level of concentration has dipped. Maybe they're feeling the heat for the first time in a long time, these players, because Dortmund are really applying the pressure, aren't they? Who do you think is going to win the Bundesliga? Let us know in the comments below, and come and join us. Set a reminder now.
It's going to be massive.
Armchair fans, tomorrow, baby.
Don't miss it.
So that was your roundup for another week, Doogie. What else is on FD and FDFC?
FD, you should obviously go check out Winners and Losers, which would have hopefully just dropped an hour ago. Go over to FDFC, you've got squad goals, sevens, personal masterminds, much more good stuff coming that way as well. Stay on EFD as well, check out all the Stat Wars. Stat Wars The Champions launched last week with me losing to Bobby Seagull, but go check that out. I've actually been on quite a few Stat Wars recently, so you will luckily have a break from me. But yeah, there's lots of good stuff across all 3 channels. You are MVP last week. You were pretty much in every single show. I was losing in Stat Wars relentlessly, though. It wasn't good for my confidence. Not good for the ego. No. But, good content. So go and watch it. Bye.